How's it going, everybody? Ragiroth here. So another Guilty Gear list video. I'm assuming this one's probably going to come out after my first one. But I talked about characters that I would like to return that were in Revelator 2, the most recent version of Guilty Gear. But now I want to talk about characters that were not in the new, I guess, iterations of Guilty Gear at all. Any like the 3D, I guess, ones. Well, I know they're not 3D in, I guess, function, but they're 3D in graphics. Now, what kind of is fair game here are characters that were playable in the 2D fighting games that didn't make it back. Characters that maybe were playable in Guilty Gear Overture, the spin-off game, or any spin-off games for that matter, that did not make it to Xrd. Or characters that were maybe NPCs that have still not been promoted to playable. So there's a couple different, I guess, you'll notice characters from, I guess, different spectrums, if that makes sense, in this list. Unlike, the other one where it's mostly just, characters that are in Revelator 2 coming back. So I got 10 characters, no honorable mentions of this one because it was almost hard to fill this one out. So I'm going to start with number 10. Number 10 is Order Soul. I'm going to be honest, these first few are kind of just going to be sort of filler-ish ones just to kind of make the list 10. Though, maybe I shouldn't be saying that because I do really like Order Soul. Order Soul, for those that don't know, is Soul Bad Guy before, I think when he joined, while he was still in the Holy Order with Kai and all that. I guess the pre-Guilty Gear days, we'll put it that way. And he was introduced in, I think, Guilty Gear Slash, I think. He was like kind of he was not a clone of Soul. He definitely had some similarities. I know he used a different sword. I forget what it was like. This kind of looked like a big metal slab for the most part. And he had this gimmick where he'd charge himself up, kind of. I think there's another character that I think of when I think of charge. I was gonna say, I guess everybody in Dragon Ball FighterZ is like Order Soul. Yeah, I did like playing. He was definitely more complicated to use as normal Soul. I did like his, it was cool seeing him in that design, that getup. It's kind of like a red version of Kai's outfit. And yeah, he basically fit in the story because I think Soul gets sent back in time. I forget how exactly, and he has to fight, the version of himself in the past. Honestly, I wouldn't really lose sleep if Order Soul didn't come back. He is just another version of Soul, and he is different, but he's not that different. Either way, though, I do like him, and I wouldn't be mad if they brought him back. So yeah, I don't think he's super. I think again he's probably more likely if it's a reboot. Though then again, I guess Soul went back in time to deal with him, so I guess it's kind of fair game with that. But yeah, I think that's all I can really say about Order Soul. Okay, so number 9 is Gabriel. For those who don't know Gabriel's, he's basically, when Potemkin wins more so in the 2D games, he's the guy that kind of just comes out of nowhere and, Potemkin and him salute each other. He's basically Potemkin's, mentor, I guess, person in charge, right? I guess he's superior officer. And I never really thought much of him before, but he's actually in the story. I think it was Revelator. I forget if it was Revelator or Xrd or both. And he does actually fight a bit. And it was actually pretty cool. He doesn't really do anything really fancy looking. It's more so just kind of crazy feats. And he's apparently Potemkin's mentor, so he's a strong guy. I think the thing that kind of holds Gabriel back is his design. His design is incredibly plain, at least for a Guilty Gear game. I think they definitely got to change his appearance a little bit. Change it? I don't really know. I don't know what. I don't want to change him too much because it's then it's not going to look like him anymore. But something to make him pop, I guess, a little bit more. In terms of how he play, I imagine him being a mix of Albert Wesker and maybe a little bit of Murakumo from. He's the main villain from Akatsuki Blitzkampf, the game that Akatsuki and Blitztank are from, the characters in Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. Yeah, I see him because they're kind of those kind of powerful, they're strong and but they're not over the top. They still kind of just do crazy feats, I could see Gabriel throwing a missile like what Wesker does or something like that. Again, he's not a character I'm dying for. I do think it's maybe his time. I think it's time he kind of gets to be on the front lines, and I'd like to see what he can really do, and maybe how they kind of change him up a little bit so he's not just kind of typical general man who can't see his eyes. But yeah, I think that's all I can really say for Gabriel. Alright, so number 8 is Cliff Underson. So Cliff was kind of another character. He was kind of, I guess, sort of like a boss character. Though he wasn't a bad guy. I think he was, the leader of the Holy Order, I think, if I remember correctly. Like, the organization Kai is part of, and Soul was part of. And I think he would, I forget how he died exactly. I guess he was just too damn old, or he used the full of his strength. I forget exactly. I know in his the recent appearances in games, like it was really uncanon appearances. He was always like an unlockable bonus character. He was always really overpowered because of his like short ass hitbox and his huge ass range and strength. It would be nice to see a more balanced version of him. I don't know if he was balanced in Guilty Gear and Guilty Gear Accent Core. Oh wow, okay. Oh, okay. He was bottom tier. Oh my god, okay. So I guess he was balanced, alright. Maybe a little too balanced. Maybe too nerfed. Yeah, okay then. But yeah, I mean, I personally would kind of like to see Cliff, because I think Cliff, like, I don't really know if if he had the ability to change into his younger form, like, if this was a normal thing, or if, like, that was just kind of him, that was, like, him in his prime. I honestly kind of would like that version of him back, though I guess that would kind of take away some of his uniqueness. I would like to see how that version kind of plays, and maybe if they could balance it, I don't know. Again, this is kind of a filler kind of choice. Like, I do like Cliff, but it's like, it's mostly just because there's not that many characters that they're kind of missing from the recent game. So that's kind of why, just kind of going with some characters that are cool, but I'm not super dying for. So yeah, it'd be nice to see Cliff back, balanced, and maybe his younger self. I don't think it's going to happen. I kind of think, unfortunately, he might be kind of done. Okay, on to number 7. Number 7 is Robo-Ky. I've always really liked Robo-Ky. The only reason he's not higher is because he is just kind of another version of Kai. Although he plays completely differently. At least, at first I know he kind of did, but then they kind of gave him his own moveset. And it was a shame seeing him in a story mode and not actually being able to play as him. And of course I think he might have died as well, which was kind of a bummer. Like, especially because, like, he didn't even get to be playable in the damn game. He killed him off. He was just a really cool, fun character to me. Normally, I'm not that crazy about Joe characters. I guess it partially helps because I like Kai so much. I just kind of thought he was like this neat, like, kind of robot character. And I'd like to see what they do with him in the other game. Because I think he was just like a head. Or I think at least most of the story was just a head. I'd like to see him kind of get his body back. I mean, the thing is, he's a robot, and they made multiple versions of him. So just have this be a new version. I don't know. If it is not even a reboot for that matter. But yeah, hopefully Robo-Ky comes back. And I know he's another version of Kai, but he's so different though. And so fun. Okay, so number 6 is Zappa. Zappa is definitely a weird case where I am shocked he was never added. Especially, I mean, he was, again, I'm just like Robo-Ky, he was in the story mode. He was, I guess, kind of like a, he did, like, some minor things, I guess. I think the main reason he's not playable is because he's cured of, I guess, the virus or the curse, or what you want to call it, with his like ring/grudge chick that is possessing him. I guess that's kind of why. And I feel bad because it's like him being playable again means he basically has to be like cursed or infected again. And maybe, I don't know, maybe like this time if he gets possessed, it can be kind of like a sort of like maybe him and the scary lady kind of, I guess, sort of make kind of get along or something, kind of share his body. So like kind of think like Venom. I guess speaking of Venom, I guess Venom from like Marvel, like how Eddie Brock and the symbiote kind of they kind of coexist and get along. Maybe something like that. I don't know. And it's like he is like I think a somewhat popular character, and apparently he was actually #1 on the tier list. And his moveset is so sick and crazy. I love it. Like he was another character I used to not really like that much, but I don't know. He just really started to grow on me. I think it helps. I think well, I have like a love-hate relationship with like kind of those rain grudge-like monsters. I think they're terrifying, but I guess they're terrifying, so they're kind of cool and interesting to me. And like he had some other really cool like spirits and stuff. He summoned to, and it was really cool. I'd love to see him in the so hopefully, I'm pretty sure he's gonna come back. He's, I think, too much of a. I mean, there's nothing. I don't know. Him not being in it all was a weird exclusion. I'm sure there's a way they can kind of find and bring him back. So Zappa is probably the character on this list I'm most confident will return. Number 5 is Abba, or ABA. I'm not really sure how you say her name. She's another. She's kind of like, funny enough, a female Zappa in a way. She's like just this really cool, like wacky character as well. She felt like a goth female version of like Sora from Kingdom Hearts with a giant key. Like that's basically like her keyblade. I did like playing as her, and she was definitely very tricky to get a hang on. But let's see how was she in there? Okay, she was actually pretty low last time she was in the game. But you know, she's a really interesting character. I think with a neat story as well. She wasn't in Revelator at all though. Like wow, they like. I guess maybe she's not that popular. It didn't help. She was one of the newest characters before Xrd, so maybe like people just didn't really have enough time with her. I guess she wasn't she felt too fresh for people. Now maybe it's like she's kind of sad a game out. Maybe people want her back more. But like yeah, she's another one of my favorite female characters that is unfortunate she never came back, and I'm hoping she'll come back. I don't think she's as likely as Zappa. But I do think she is fairly likely. And I don't think she died. I could be wrong. But I don't think anything bad happened to her. So she definitely should be able to come back. Okay, so number 4 is That Man. Or, as his real name, which we found out not too long ago, Asuka R. Asuka R. But basically, That Man or Asuka, he's the main antagonist behind Guilty Gear. He's basically responsible for everything. That's why he's That Man. After all these years, we still have not really gotten to play as him. That's kind of messed up, and I feel like the time is now, especially because it's like the last game literally ended on us seeing what he looks like and finding out his real name, finding out more about him, basically teasing the confrontation between him and Soul, finally. So that would be so dumb if... This is the main reason I don't want it to be a reboot, because it's like you literally left on this, and it's like, then you're going to reboot everything. No, that's not the place to end it. Like, come on. And I really just want to say, I know he had a pretty crazy... You do fight him, even though you can't really beat him in Guilty Gear Overture. But he had like crazy ass powers. Yeah, his theme was really cool. Just everything about him was. I mean, I know like yeah, part of him is the enigmatic figure to him, and I guess that's going to kind of ruin now. But I don't really care at this point. I just kind of would like to play as him and kind of fight him. So hopefully, like I said, I think he's a character that basically. It really depends on if this is a reboot or not. If this is a reboot, like then it's not happening unless they change things that, I guess. He becomes, I guess, more, on the front lines earlier on. Or I think if this is not a reboot, then he is one of the most likely new characters, period. Alright, number 3, this is another kind of out there character choice. Judgment. Judgment, for those that don't know, is the main character. He was the main antagonist in Guilty Gear Judgment. It was a PSP game. It was like kind of a side-scroll beat-em-up game. He would be the last boss. And I think if you beat the game and you collected like letters that spelled out his name or something like that, you would unlock him after you beat the game. You could play through as him. And he just has a really sick design and just a really sick moveset. I forget what he is exactly. I know he is like a human form. I think he basically becomes like a gear or something like that. He always reminded me of like Super Android 13 mixed with like I would say like New 13 or something, or like yeah, he definitely has like a Super Saiyan vibe to him. I guess okay, his original name was Raymond. Only in Guilty Gear Judgment. Like everything about him was just super cool to me, and like it was really a shame he didn't get to be playable in an actual fighting game. Okay, so he was a possible like scientist or something, and he's a former member of the Sacred Order, Holy Knights. Yeah, I mean, it's a shame. It does seem like he's dead. Maybe he'd be a good DLC character or something like that. But like, yeah, just everything about him is like a really cool moveset, really unique. I mean, I guess he's maybe not as unique now because I feel like we kind of have Bremlethal with like the blades and stuff, the floating blades. But I don't know. I'd really still like to play as Judgment in a new game. He's such a sick character, and it's a shame he never, got to be outside of that spin-off game. So here's hoping, but I think the chances are incredibly slim. I think, unfortunately, he's just going to be seen as a one-off character. And I don't think he was exactly super popular, but that's also probably because not many people played that game. There, number 2 is Justice. Now, again, I'm making this disclaimer. Well, no, never mind. So again, I kind of started Guilty Gear Xrd, so I didn't really know who Justice was initially. I just knew she was one of the secret characters. And like, I remember like doing like one of the missions in Mission Mode where you fight her. When I saw what she looked like, I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, what the hell is that? That is friggin' awesome looking. It's like a friggin' orbital frame Gundam thing. In like this game, because I remember, I think I got that game around the same time. It was around the same time. It was on the end of the second letter came out as well. So I guess, yeah, orbital frames was on the end of kind of on my mind. She was just so freaking cool. I also didn't know that it was a shooter. So I thought it was she's just such a sick ass character, really cool theme. Oh man, I love Justice. She was one of my favorite characters. And yeah, I know she was stupidly overpowered. However, they did nerf her. I think the later versions of X2. Admittedly, apparently they nerfed her pretty hard because she's almost bottom tier. But again, I would take a balanced Justice again, even if she wasn't super high. I would just like to play as her again. They would probably make her even cooler in this game. It's just a shame again. She's like died. Like, I feel like she's died so many times now. It's like and I guess Jacko, like, because I know Justice is like Arya, and Jacko's also Arya. It's, that's weird. And Justice is definitely a character that, like, Justice is one of the characters I kind of, she's one of the reasons I wish maybe it's a reboot, because if it's a reboot, then her chances go up like tremendously. But no, I love Justice. I would love to see her come back. I don't care how much sense it makes. I just want to play as her again, just make her balanced, whatever, all that good stuff. Alright, so I actually couldn't really think of honorable mentions. Alright, I'm just going to say it. Number 1 is Testament. Testament is probably my favorite Guilty Gear character. I know, big shock. Big shock me like an edgelord character. I know he had a kind of a high tournament presence, and I think he was even considered top tier. I think at the time. The tier list I'm looking at now, he is not top tier. He's like, I think, kind of middle. I just always really liked Testament. I always loved playing as him. He's one of the characters that I think kind of made me fall in love with Scythes. His themes were cool. More so his themes from, I think, the first game, A Fixed Idea. I was pretty bummed. I was bummed that they refused to bring this character back in the newer version. I would like to say he's a shoo-in. I think his main issue is I don't think he's super popular, and I think the problem is I keep hearing mixed things, but I think he might actually be dead story-wise. So that might be another problem as well. But again, fighting game that doesn't mean anything. And he's another character that, if it does a reboot, just like Justice, his chances go up tremendously. He's one of the main villains in the first game. After that, he kind of, I guess, fades in the background a little bit. Or no, I think he's always like a sub-boss or something like that. But no, Testament, he needs to be back in this game. There's no excuses. If I get him back and I get Raven, and again, I don't care. I don't want that I like him because he's good. He's amazing. I just like him. I want to play as him again. I just make him balanced or whatever. But yeah, that's it for my list. I should probably say, I know I kind of missed 2 characters that didn't make it in any of the versions of Xrd Revelator, and they are Angelito and Bridget. The reason these characters are not on the list is because I personally have just never been that crazy about them. I know they have their fans. I'm sorry. You know, if it makes you feel better, I'm pretty sure these characters are more likely than a good chunk of the characters on my list. Especially Bridget. Bridget is very popular from what I hear. I don't know about Energy. I'm sure they'll be back though. They're just not really my cups of tea. I'll be happy though for people that wanted them back if they, do come back. But let me know what you guys think about the list in the comments below. What characters you would like to see come back that were not in Revelator 2 that kind of missed out. The NPCs that are promoted, characters that the characters that they just didn't bring back that were playable before. Or characters that maybe got to be in a spin-off, but like they never made it to play with it. But yeah, don't forget to check out my friend Marquis in the description below. Don't forget to check out Mr. Anderson. And Mr. Anderson Plays Games in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel, feel free to check out my Patreon. Donate some money and help me out. But if not, it's no big deal. I'm not begging for money. If you do though, I will definitely give you a shout out. Just letting you guys know. Thank you so much for checking out this video. And as I always say, in a time and a place, keep being awesome.